that. Hello, Snickerdoodle.
Look what Rhea brought for you,
Here's
Randy.
Rhea. Oh, donuts. Donuts.
Surprise, surprise.
Yummy.
Oh, boy.
I'm big and I hold this.
Yeah, you are. Yes, you are. You're doing a good job.
Good.
Oh,
Hey, these are all for me. All of these.
Yeah, we're gonna go to the birthday.
Oh, thank you.
We're having your birthday coming up.
Yeah, it's coming
How
up.
about that?
Thank you.
That's right, Rhea. You know, yeah, you already turned into a big blue baby. No more baby, huh? Like Phoenix, huh?
Phoenix.
Already like a
And Phoenix is already baby.
Phoenix.
I'll call for Mom.
that's
Mom, smile.
this is
Hey, Phoenix.
That's right. That one's yours. That one's yours. That one's yours.
Yeah, look at her.
all of mine.
Just half of them? Okay, well, thank you. We'll eat these over here.
Yeah, the pink sprinkle ones we should.
I'll take it.
There's full.
I'm gonna have the glaze.
3 sprinkles.
This one right here.
Glaze.
Randy said he'll have.
Birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Brandy. Happy birthday to you. Blow 'em out.
You got some baritone.
Be 100. May you live to be 100. May you live to be 100. And may you live to be 100 more. Alright. Can you blow them out?
Everybody give a kiss to the happy
Oh,
birthday.
and the 90 spankings. Go.
Yes, absolutely. Each of us get 10. There's exactly 9 of us. We all get 10 spankings.
How does that song
You
go?
could take his hat off for something.
You say
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Chrissy.
Happy birthday to me.
All right.
Hey.
Get the knife.
I'm a seat team.
Gotta blow out the candle.
Make a wish.
I wish to see them.
Listen to this. I know what he's gonna say.
You get an extra 1,000 in your BOHIX for every additional year.
Did you make a wish?
Yeah.
You blow the candle.
Get the knife in. Yeah, you're supposed to blow the candles first.
Or the wish won't come true.
Now what?
Eat it all.
We'll cut the first
Now you live
piece
to
for you.
91.
Is there a plate handy anywhere?
Yeah, there's a pile of
I
them
think
right
you
in the bar.
come over here and you.
Good.
I took it. There's no
Hey.
flash on. Yes.
Right, everybody say
Should we just
Yeah, stay put.
do one more for
Yeah.
posterity? All right, and another.
Just a little bit of video.
Wow. Amazing.
Wow, look at you.
Does.
That nice smile and everything.
You're ready for...
So I don't think anyone can argue the fact that we all learned how to change the oil, check the air, and stay
Get that
away
over
from
with.
trucks.
Say
How
what?
many had that on
What
their
about
list?
trucks?
Stay away from trucks when you're
Oh,
driving.
I don't remember that one. Stay away from trucks.
And along the line with driving, how to drive defensively. I'll leave out the expletives and how to beat the red lights.
I remember all the expletives.
But by
What,
the
you gotta
same
dig a hole and
token,
bury 'em?
I
They're gonna have a turn.
go die at the stops.
That's what I mean.
I,
What do you feel? A stoplight.
I appreciated learning that when you're the slower driver, you stay to the right.
Bingo.
I can't believe how many people
Nobody
don't
else
know
knows that
that.
on this planet.
Yeah, well, she flunked me. for
Except the
going slow.
Haddads.
That's that way I won.
Well, I'm sorry, your father didn't teach you that.
I brought it up in traffic school. That actually is supposed to be followed.
It is
It's
a rule.
not, it's not
It's a
illegal
law.
if you don't, but it,
But
In some
it's-
states it
it's-
is.
oh, it
it's-
is.
In some states.
How
In
about that?
Texas, they have signs all over,
Yeah.
please, slower traffic,
To
keep
the
right.
right, yeah.
People in LA are just,
Stop.
But I can remember
Yeah.
Bethany actually saying to me, she would be driving with her friends and she goes, did you teach me something that you made up? Because nobody else knows this.
yep.
Yeah. How to drive defensively too. I think that's actually important. You don't just sit and go out and drive. You do have to watch. Other people are in la la land. Oh brother, sitting in this living room, I learned to appreciate marches and playing the trumpet.
John Philip Sousa.
We appreciated, Dad always did have a good work ethic. He went to work, he held
Yeah.
a job that seems simple, but in this day and age, you hear about these people that don't work and leave their families out to dry. And that gave Mom the ability to stay home and cook good meals for us.
Raise great kids.
Yeah, we're perfect in every way, just like Mary Poppins. And he taught us the importance of being educated, be whatever our gifting was, college or elsewise. I also appreciated that we did go to our grandparents every Sunday or more. And we honored our grandparents, even though we always had our little sayings about Grandma Haddad.
Well, you didn't say them back then.
No, we didn't, but, and just that when they would leave, that you would have them call us when they got home, because you wanted to make sure they got home, and Grandma would come over and we'd make applesauce, and we'd go to Grandpa's, and as soon as we'd get there, he'd put the coffee pot on, because he liked having us over.
Well, we used to tell you, don't forget when we leave, thank you for everything.
Because we would have never remembered to say that, I know.
Can we interject as we're going, or do
Yeah,
we want to?
might as
good.
well,
Yeah.
might as well.
What I remember about going to Grandma Haddad's and Grandpa's, as a little boy, what I regretted is we didn't have any cousins when we went over there.
Right.
So the reason why it was so much more fun to go to your parents is
Yeah.
because that's where all the cousins were.
Yeah.
But remember Grandpa, every time we'd come over,
Have some pistachios.
he would go to the cabinet over by the kitchen and he'd bring out a glass jar of chocolates.
Yeah,
And then
good
he would bring a
chocolate.
glass jar of peanuts and
Pistachios.
or the
Yeah.
mixed peanuts and
Yeah.
sometimes pistachios. And he would always say, you know, you can have as many as you want. And then you guys would always
Yeah.
say, you've already had 2 of those. So,
Two? At least you
yeah.
got 2, I only got 1.
yeah.
But then
But
I
that
was
was,
I
it
was
was
the
those
fat
little
kid.
Hershey squares a lot of times. But then
Yeah.
he would open up one of those big Hershey chocolates and then break it up in
Oh,
those big
yeah.
chunks. And I would look at that and go, whoa, that is a big chunk that's going to be in that glass jar.
We hit,
I got my eye on that
I
one.
got,
we
yeah.
hit pay dirt here.
Yeah.
Because we didn't get that at home.
Didn't-
You didn't go over there for the dollar?
Well, that's another story. Yeah.
Going over there.
Yeah, and then because we were modeled to honor our grandparents, and I think of all the things you did for my kids as grandparents, you know, coming for every holiday and every birthday and every play and every whatever. It was, you were there, people said to me, your parents are here more than my parents, and my parents live up the
How
road.
could you stand it? Your parents are here all the time.
No, they all thought they were envious. One of my friends, her mother said to her, well, I don't know which one she is in the marching band. Her mother goes, yeah, it's kind of hard to see the one in the front that's leading them, isn't it? You know, so, some grandparents just don't care about their grandkids, and you did, and I always appreciated that, especially after Dan died. Nobody else cared about them as much as you guys did, and I always appreciated that I could call you about a loose tooth or anything. And you taught us to be budget conscious and economical, to the point of, yeah, we joke about being cheap, but there are some kids that don't know how to budget. They don't know how to live within their means, and they end up in debt. So I appreciated that we learned to be economical and look for sales.
And coupons.
Coupons, right.
I wasn't big on coupons for a long time. This was something that I caught on to much later in life. But then we used to hear.
That Dad also taught us the value of taking photos of things. So we always have those photos.
Is that how
I've
started?
Yes, you can be thankful.
That's the origin.
But you know, to this day, our cousins and their parents, Graham's brothers and sisters, they didn't want to pose for those pictures, but they all looked and said, maybe Uncle George has a picture of that. To this day, and looking for pictures, it was hard to find him in the picture because he was always taking the picture.
He didn't care.
Right.
Yeah.
On his
So-
Argus C3.
Yeah. I lost track if that's 9 or not, but I'm done. That is all.
See, you didn't get cheated
All
after all,
right.
George.
Okay. So
You got to see
I have kind
a
of
few
an
more years.
eclectic mix here, but I'm gonna start with some of your sayings. You taught us bum 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 cry baby cry.
Yeah, I thought of that one. I forgot to write it down.
And we also were, I think, razzed over pretty much every meal that if you come to my house, I'll make you a tame rabbit.
I don't
You're gonna make
remember
us
that.
into a jackrabbit.
Huh.
Of course, we always heard, what's that noise? Quit banging! Sit down a while.
Funny to you. They didn't think it was so funny when
Yeah, and
Daffy said
Rhea,
that.
this next one relates to you. We were told to never put our feet on the couch upon penalty of death.
Right.
So your feet are on the couch.
Great grandchildren are allowed to do it.
Yeah, apparently at some point it's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm so afraid you're going to lose your
I think everybody else here will agree that you taught us our love of ice cream. Of course, we have so many memories of ice cream. I also learned that removing staples from your head doesn't require a doctor, just Grampy, a pair of pliers, a pillow for you to scream into while you're laying on the kitchen table.
Are you kidding me?
How did you
gotta-
get staples in your head?
I was at Mom's college
College
reunion
reunion.
at Miami University, and I was kneel jumping on the bed, and it was one of those old beds with like a really metal frame. And I cracked my head into it and woke up to like Dad holding a completely bloody towel onto my head as they rushed me to the ER, and they put staples in my head. And I guess weeks later we didn't feel there was any need to go back to
Oh,
the doctor.
jeez.
We would just have him take them out with pliers on that table. And I still remember like screaming into the pillow that I was given.
Your dad was the one that took him out?
Oh,
Grampy
no,
was the,
Grampy.
oh my gosh.
Like with literal pliers.
I
So.
had no idea. That is,
Did he have a
I'm
hammer or a
so sorry.
screwdriver? Did he-
Yeah, just to wedge it in there, trying to get
Twist
some
it.
leverage. Yeah.
Oh.
Let me back up. When she fell and she was bleeding, and this was like at 1 in the morning, whatever, and she had to go to the emergency room. And we're like, I don't know where the emergency rooms were. And meanwhile, all the guys were like, ah, we know where it is.
Right.
Fun to school with.
Yeah. Yeah. We also have to thank Grampy for instilling his fashion sense.
Oh, yeah.
Jeans and a white t-shirt, that is totally acceptable fashion. However, I found out that there are unwritten rules for what you can wear to a Catholic wedding ceremony. But you can wear whatever you want to the reception. Christ does not apparently follow you to the reception hall, so you can wear whatever you want there.
Grampy didn't wear jeans,
You were khakis.
you know?
Khakis.
Yeah, he wears
Well,
No,
those
he
denim
wore
looking
jeans.
pants that he
Dad,
always
you
wore.
wore
I don't
denim.
know if it was jeans.
It
but
was
it was
denim.
I
I
don't
guess.
know.
Yeah,
Um,
I do. I know. For the
no,
longest
he was
time.
Already in the
You got
jeans
nothing
by
about the
then.
mismatched plaid shirts?
That wasn't really my point, but yeah. So yes, to say agree with Mom, the importance of car maintenance and watching the mechanic.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah. In fact, when I just had the oil change to come here, I was kind of like looking in there, and the lady at the desk was like, "What are you doing?" "Oh, you're just watching." "Oh, that's okay." And I'm just sort of like, I guess not everyone does.
Observing, yeah.
We'd know
Hey,
if
he
they were
said,
doing
he says
anything
to
wrong.
do that.
Well, you can tell
You
if they ever
should.
actually take your tires off the car, for example, to rotate the tires. And if I'm paying you, I want to know you actually did it. So, probably my best memory though is private times. I think that was a huge part of our childhood, being able to come here. And specifically, I don't know why, but as I was trying to think of like one example, I remember going to Amish country.
Oh,
I
really?
tried to do something nice with you while you were here, you know,
Yeah.
take you.
Not just
Yeah.
eat ice cream.
That was good. And I would be remiss if I did not mention that Grampy gave me my first salute as an Air Force officer.
That was awesome. We
Yeah.
all remember that. Yes.
Yep.
Want to do one more salute for the record? I
make him
do
stand up.
remember that was a big deal. That was
Wow.
huge.
Was that at UCLA?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a big thing. That was a big deal.
All of the things that kind of created the lens that I look through as far as how I approach life. And probably some of the things that are almost subconscious in me, but yet when I look in retrospect, I realize they're there because of you. And you touched on some of the big ones that I wanted to talk about, but I'm still going to use those. But like, for example, remember when you used to do the paint by number Air Force?
Yeah.
You did the German 3-winger,
Yeah.
and then you did the English 2-winger. And I remember the sewing machine used to be, I think, right here. There was a desk out here,
I don't remember that.
and you used to sit here and paint those. But it was always so perfect. Do you guys know what a paint by number is?
Hmm.
Yeah,
I
it's a board that has the image, but it's all just in line. And in all these tiny little shapes are numbers. And those numbers correspond to little cups of paint that come in the kit. So you follow all those hundreds of numbers and put the color from the kit. I think Josh is here.
Yeah. I'll take her outside. You can continue.
Okay.
What?
There's Liza.
What am I?
Oh,
We can
surprise.
pop.
Must have been surprised. Josh is here. So, anyway, as you started filling in all those numbers, the image just slowly came into view, you know? And I just remember watching you do that, and I really believe it created, not just that, but it created a sense of perfection, and a sense of organization, a sense of getting things right. And it impacted me because I started also probably around that time to recognize I had a gift as an artist. And you were doing those things that inspired me as an artist. And so when you did those paint by numbers, even though it was kind of a small thing, I think it really impacted me. And then when I saw the way those things looked in the end, and you remember you put them up in the bedroom, in our back bedroom? Both of those pictures were in the back bedroom for a long time. And it had an impact on me. So along those same lines, this is the thing that I think has had probably one of the biggest influences on me in the vision that I have for my life and the things that I believe God wants to accomplish through me. But I know it has affected me all the way up until this point in my life. And it's some of the things that you brought up. The fact that when I was a little kid, I would hear you talking about that you made the house 4 feet bigger. I knew that we had a bigger garage than everybody on the block. And it wasn't like...
Not to outdo anybody.
Yeah, it wasn't like an
arrogant
arrogant
thing. You just wanted to do
thing.
it because you appreciated it. You wanted it.
Yeah, I knew that you wanted a bigger garage because you were thinking ahead that there would be someday we would have 2 cars. You wanted to be able to put everything in the garage. There was an attic in the garage.
Attic. Yeah.
And so again, even though as a little kid I didn't think through that. I didn't know that's why you were doing everything, but it was talked about. And those things were instilled in me. So like when Randy said about the figure-8 pool, not only did you get the figure-8 pool, well let me say this too. Remember we had talked about getting an in-ground pool, and we had talked about getting an outside in-ground pool. And you guys would go back and forth about the expense of it. And I remember again as a kid thinking, yeah, that's a lot of money to put in a built-in swimming pool. But you figured out a way to not spend as much money, but yet you put that pool a foot down in the ground. So remember when all the cousins and uncles came over?
I forgot about that.
We had to
you sunk it
dig
a foot.
the whole backyard a foot down in a figure-8,
Yep.
so that pool was sunken.
Because you
And
wanted to be able to run and jump into
Yeah.
it, which we never quite
It was
got.
very unique. You know, I don't know of anybody that ever had a pool that was sunk in a foot, in the ground.
And Babe
A
and
lot
Uncle
of it,
Nicky
sure.
had the figure-8.
But they didn't sink it though.
But they didn't
Yeah,
have it dug up
they didn't
like
sink
that.
it.
Yeah.
Plus, they didn't have the deep end.
Yeah.
So like Randy said, we got the deep end. And again, when you bought it like that, I thought it is unique. It's different than anybody I know. And the window, and the fact that it was only 3 feet. I remember, I think you were the first one that you ran and you jumped in the pool. And so then that's what we would do. We'd run from the back porch and dive into the pool.
Then we couldn't do it because we were getting grass in the pool. You said you can't do it because you couldn't put your feet in the water before you jumped in because you were busy running on the grass.
Okay.
We're probably going to have to...
No, go ahead.
We should say hello.
But the other thing also about the pool is you didn't get the white outside pool.
Oh, you got the wood grain.
You got the wood grain.
That's right.
And again, even because I was... Well,
You
let's
should
take
just
a
say
breath
hi-
and say
hi to
hello to
everyone.
Joshua. So we'll pick up there.
Yeah.
I know a lot about wrestling, but you would always be, get them, and you were like the cheerleader. And I was wrestling against a really good guy. And do you remember this?
Yeah.
There was another father there that knew a lot about wrestling, and he had his son with him that we got to know. Because they would show up at the same tournaments that we did. So eventually, we got to know them. I don't know if you remember this. And so, he was standing behind you, because you couldn't have 2 people coaching in that corner. And you realized you couldn't really give me the help that I needed, so you turned around and you had that guy come, and you motioned him over, and you let him take the seat there in the corner, and you went off to the side. Do you remember that?
Something about it.
Yeah. And I remember when I was even on the mat, I remember thinking, that really touched me, because I knew that it showed me how much you cared, and you were willing enough to step aside and let this other dad come in, basically, and coach me. And that had a really positive, touching impact on me, because I felt like it showed how much you cared, being willing to do that. So that's pretty much everything, but I wanted to focus and take the time to focus on those areas that I felt like impacted me the most, which was your willingness to always look at things and try to make them better for what you had. Making the house bigger, putting cedar siding on the house when no one else had cedar siding, making the garage bigger, all of the things that Randy had mentioned. But all of those things, I think, had the most profound impact on me in my life. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Yep.
You know.
Perfectionism is, you know, there's a flip side, is you could be too much of a perfectionist, and for a long time I didn't like that, but there's something to be said for that and doing it right. And I think whatever a person's skill is, that perfectionism follows through, whether I'm doing the music or I'm doing the touch-up or I'm doing any kind of a job. And I think that's what Rob, even his artwork, there's a perfection, even in writing the book. Perfectionism is by example we learned that. They say, teach a person on the altar of example, for they will learn by no other. And that's what you did. You gave us a good example of being perfectionists, and we just have to learn how to be tempered in that. But I think we both appreciate that. And even Georgine, with her wanting to be homeschooling, because she felt like this is the best way to do this, and a number of other things. So that's huge, and to me, I had to say that, because that's undergirded everything. That plays into all these other things we've been talking about, you know. So thanks for that. Amen.
Amen.
Okay.
That was.
My other siblings couldn't make it, so I've absorbed their time into my presentation. I've got Aaron, Bethany, and Courtney to go through. So.
Oh, you have all of their.
No, actually, for the good. No, you guys have said a lot of the things already. Speaking specifically from my vantage point, though, I started off with.
Came over here, Bridget.
You always encouraged us to lift weights. You would always go to Aaron and me and be like, "Are you lifting weights? Are you doing?" And he gave us a little set. You know, it came in a little briefcase kind of thing. And you would always check in. And man, when I was a kid, I was like, I don't own any weights. But we ended up really taking that advice, both of us. And you were definitely a positive voice to get us in the gym. So I'm thankful for that. And then, yeah, most of you said taking care of your car.
Yeah.
And I appreciate some of the conversations we've had about that. You know, when I blew my head gasket up in Arizona, I called you daily there for probably a week and a half. A good week at least. And I appreciated your concern, because I was in this transition and I just didn't have a whole lot of friends to talk to. And you've always been there on the other end to pick up.
Right.
Another thing you've always encouraged us to do is invest. And I have down here VOHIX and VFICX, which are tax-free municipal bond funds. But anyway.
I've heard that, if you've heard it once, you've heard it a million times.
I've heard those tickers, those
Yeah.
more times. Yeah, and then ice cream, you know, there's an honorable mention. Ice cream is worth the money. That's something I'm trying to convince you of, though, that you know, the premium brands are worth it, but you treated us a lot, and I appreciate the time. And yeah, Brittany, your list was really incomplete with all the speech, the sayings, and I'm sure if we sat here, we could all come up with our own language that you taught us, and I'll go really quick. There's Skizadich and Skabooch, Crapazano, Josie Wales, Cry, Baby, Cry.
And Yankee Doodle Dandy.
Yeah, with its own separate verse.
Yeah.
Where did you stick the feather?
in it,
You used to use the crapper, which was hilarious as a kid. a napkin was a Spunion. You'd go get a Starbucks or go to the Home Depot. That's the reason. But we'd make monkey shines, and you'd threaten to tan our jacket, tan your hide. Yeah, that's subject to debate. I remember it, tan your
A
jacket.
bucket is what I think he,
Tan your jacket.
you thought you heard jacket, but I think he meant, he was saying bucket.
Tender buckets.
Yeah.
And Jersey Wales, no idea who that is. He's famous. And yeah, next to the next one down is take care of your stuff, take care of your things. Hyphen, stop mutilating the couch. There's an example here of so I got called out on that couch tons of times. I'm mutilating the couch.
Sitting on the edge.
Yeah.
Sit back on the couch.
I didn't know what the word meant, I just knew I shouldn't do whatever it was.
To this day, Adam doesn't know why people go to jail for mutilating. They're just sitting on the end.
Bad news, yes, curtains.
Where's Joshua?
Something that
Probably asleep.
oh, I feel like this has kind of been fed to me from the generation above me. It's to constantly learn though, and they admire you for keeping up with technology, and that is something that
Put the heater, the furnace on,
The air conditioner.
air conditioner.
Adam's
So-
talking, yeah.
Go ahead.
yeah, your willingness and you keep up with technology and you try it until you get the thing to do what you want it to. You know, you've gotten several laptops and you emailed us. You know, you were. Well, everybody, all my friends were joking about teaching their grandparents things. You could actually send an email and,
Facts.
you know, at cox.net. I mean, you're the only person I know with that domain, but hey, you make it work.
It's a
I
Cleveland
think
thing.
you had a computer before anybody else actually did. Remember you bought the one downstairs, never got it working, but you got it.
Yeah,
My
right.
gosh.
That was a big mistake, but,
But you got it.
yeah.
Okay.
Certainly.
The last two are slightly more sentimental, and it's that you were there for us with private time, with taking Christian, and you both of you really, taking Christian and investing a couple of years into him when we really didn't have the time, and for all the driving you did back and forth. You were dedicated to us, and you invested in our lives with your time, and yeah, you'd come in after the 7 or 8 hour drive, and you'd crash on the couch, but you were there. And you were there with us.
Just give them ice cream. We'll drive for ice cream.
And yeah, so in conclusion, you're a faithful husband, and that's something. I mean, yeah, I guess I never really considered. You know, I knew things aren't always perfect in a relationship, but it's built on a foundation that I never really thought you were. You know, you're never on the rocks with Graham. It was just, you know, you're faithful. And you're a faithful father and grandfather.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I love and appreciate you for those
Thank
things. You're welcome.
you. Good.
So where'd you learn that from? Grandpa and Grandma?
I don't know. I just picked it up.
Well,
So what's the year?
we got married?
2018.
Yeah.
But what year you got married?
George just turned
90.
90. And Mom's got some things to share. A list of about 9.
Well, unfortunately, don't have here.
That's okay. Ad lib. Away. Thanks, Mom.
Well,
How old are you?
you tell me.
89,
No, I'm going to be 88
88.
in November.
When do we get married? 1991? 51?
Yeah.
He
How
couldn't.
long we been married?
67 years.
67.
Wow. That's pretty amazing.
It's a long
Met her in
time.
high school. We didn't get married then though. So I knew her about 80 years.
Not that long. You're not thinking right.
So
You
about
didn't
70
you didn't meet her when she was born.
about
You
7
met
years.
Yeah.
She
I
was-
born in 28, she was born 31,
Yeah.
30.
So you met her when you guys were about 15, 16, 17 years old.
Yeah,
About 17.
Yeah. In high school.
I met her at the Cleveland Zoo.
Well, it actually wasn't the zoo though.
It was the pool.
Yeah, it was,
Yeah.
At the
Yeah.
pool where the
Mind you.
elephants are.
yeah, he ducked me in the water.
Well, that's what happens when you said, I thought you were a monkey.
Right.
Man,
Well,
Super.
turn that off for a minute, just for 5 minutes.
Yeah, well, it's different when the camera's close.
Thank you.
I've always appreciated his neatness.
Neatness.
Yeah, I never had problem with him with his clothes being on the floor or all over. He always hung up his clothes or took them off the floor, didn't leave anything around.
I used to press my pants and shine my shoes.
Yeah, well, Dad,
Trust your
he did that at home when he was at home too, but I thought that was a good quality in him when we were going together, that he was always shining his shoes and pressing his own pants. He didn't have his mother do it, but he probably thought his mother couldn't do it as good as him. But, I don't know.
You didn't learn that
But
from the
no,
surface?
he was particular about how he looked. And he wasn't a showy person. I couldn't have gone with a guy that was full of himself, you know? It just, he was his own person. And being married to him, I know that I never had to worry about drinking or smoking or being unfaithful. Because if it were anything like that, I couldn't have been, my marriage wouldn't have lasted with him. I don't believe in this forgiving of infidelity. Just, that's it, you know. And I never had to worry about it. He was away from home at times, and anything could have happened, but I always trusted him.
Yeah. That's big.
That is huge.
Yeah. And I know he cared for all of you kids. Didn't always seem like the right way, but it was his concern for you all and what he meant, what he wanted from you. And
This is up to me to talk. Why are you talking?
Because
I'm
it's,
supposed to talk.
she's telling the things she appreciates about you. She's doing her list now. We'll let you talk, so I told you you'd want to talk.
You don't want to talk with him. That's the thing.
he's not a kind of person that shows a lot of affection publicly. But I also know that because of his sternness and the way he is about a lot of things, I've always said that he probably would kill for me, you know, that he cares for me that much. But so in that way, I mean, he was good about, you know, doing things around the house and everything. A lot of things never got finished, but he did a lot. Even if he had to teach himself how to do it. And
She helped me with the kitchen.
yeah,
Yeah.
well,
You didn't even
Yeah.
have YouTube.
Yeah.
She did, and what did she do? She seeded the lawn recently or something? What did you have to do?
Yeah, spread the,
Oh,
The weed.
yeah, well, that was new to me, the dandelions. No, he cared for the yard and just everything. And wanted always nice things, and like you said, I always wanted to buy quality stuff, just to make it last, you know.
Yeah.
But, since we agreed on a lot of those kinds of things, where we were gonna spend our money. And, I know that he says I've taken care of him. Thankfully, we've had nothing that's been really, really that serious, but I know if it were the other way around, he would be caring for me in the same way. I know that, so. That's it.
That's good.
ooh,
Done it without her. She still helps me.
Yep.
She made
She
it.
helps me in and out of the car, helps me shopping. She does all the shopping.
Carries the
And I wait
keys.
in the car.
You couldn't have been so perfect all these years without her. That's what you're saying, right?
Right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hip hip hooray.
Yay.